This is Jessica.
And this is Lewis.
We have a preschooler and a toddler. Our children are a different kind of perfect. This is a show about surviving parenthood throughout raising children with special needs, while keeping ourselves and our sanity intact. This is FUBAR, Surviving Parenthood with Special Needs Kids. Hello, welcome to FUBAR, Surviving Parenthood with Special Needs Kids. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Lewis.
And we're back with another mini episode. Yesterday, we had a really good thing happen to us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we went to therapies and both kids were dropped down to once a week. So,
holy shit, that's awesome.
Yeah, so instead of going twice a week plus Benji's ABA, now we're going once a week.
Well, that's just fucking fantastic.
Yeah. And then today, this morning, we took Alex to a speech therapy evaluation because his teachers were concerned about him not speaking much, and his physical therapist, he has two, one for each day of the week that he goes or went, and they're noticing he wasn't really talking much. So we're like, okay, well, I see what you're saying, so let's go. So we did the evaluation, and at the end, she said, yeah, he's incredibly low, both with expressive and receptive language for his adjusted age. So not only is he low, but he's had a significant language regression. He had been, like 3 or 4 months ago, actually saying quite a lot of words.
That's true.
When he had his final, not really evaluation, but his final check-in with the local early intervention people that he was involved with, he had about 20, 25 words. He was using them regularly. He was imitating us.
Really? 25?
Yeah. He was trying to repeat words after us and using them appropriately. He was understanding a lot of the things that we were saying to him. And then about a month or two ago, all of a sudden, he dropped down to a few words and not really understanding all the things that we were saying anymore.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I kind of noticed he wasn't really responding as much to what I was saying, or sometimes even just asking him to repeat a word. I would point to an object that I knew he knew the word for and ask him to repeat it, but he wouldn't really say it or anything.
And he used to. A few months ago, he was even doing sound blends like block, and he would say it very clearly, like block, instead of bak or ak, he was saying block. He could say crocodile, alligator, turtle, like really complex things for a 1-year-old. And all of a sudden, we're down to uh-oh, which came about 3 days ago, what he calls his daddy, book, and ball, and truck. And he had a ton more words, and even those he's not saying as clearly as he used to. So I asked the speech therapist, well, other than autism, what could cause this? And she didn't have an answer for me. So as soon as I dropped him off at school and I went to work, I looked up on the internet, as one does, to see, well, what else could cause this? And it brought me back to autism. Yeah. So we don't know that it's autism because he's really not showing a lot of signs of autism. He's not really pointing to things, but he's very social. He's showing all the signs that we expected Benji to show, but he never did. There's a teeny bit of hand flapping, like a couple times I've seen it, and he does bang his head against his high chair, but that's pretty new. But that's really it. There's really nothing else. But now autism's possibly on our radar. And so we decided to go look into getting a neurologist, because throughout all of this, no one ever said, well, yeah, we think he had a stroke, but he should see a neurologist.
Well, that sounds like a respectable, mature decision to make. Well, how did that go?
Oh, it was great. I called and I got the appointment for tomorrow. No. I called 3 different places, got through to nobody. Well, what actually happened was I called the place where he's been before, the place that I've already talked about as a well-respected place that nobody can seem to get in. And after an hour of dialing and redialing and redialing, I got to the operator who said, oh, I'll patch you right through. And nobody ever answered. So I called another location and I got through to somebody really nice. And she said, yeah, our neurologist just left and went to the place that I just spent an hour calling. So here, I have the direct number. I'll send you right there. And it rang and rang and rang and rang and rang, and we got nowhere. So I called another place who said, well, we're not actually sure if we can see somebody with his needs or not. Have the doctor send the most recent office visit. Which kind of puts us in a conundrum.
Yeah.
The developmental pediatrician has seen him twice, and it's been 3 months, so she doesn't know any of the things that are going on. The old pediatrician is worthless, so that's not even an option. God only knows if he even took notes. The new one has seen him a whole one time, so I don't know what is in his notes and if it's enough to give the new neurologist any information whatsoever.
Why would they just look off of his notes and not any of the other notes, even if like the evaluators at the speech evaluation or any of that?
We don't have that yet, and it takes at least 2 weeks to get that, which means 2 more weeks of not getting him to see a neurologist and 2 more weeks of waiting, and possibly more than that, because who knows, 1 million people might call between now and 2 weeks from now, and then we get an evaluation when he's 7 from the neurologist. So it's really tough. You know, we know now something's wrong for sure. We don't know what. Lewis and I have put cerebral palsy back on the list of possibilities. It could be autism. We're not sure. We know something's wrong.
Or both.
Or both. He had, as you'd heard me mention in a couple episodes ago, he'd had these developmental evaluations, and the last one, he was 12 or 13 months, and he came out right in the middle of average range, 50th percentile, which was great, especially since he was so delayed. He had the stroke, and he was a preemie, and that was great. This week, he came in at the 3rd percentile, which even if you know nothing about percentiles, 3 is a lot lower than 50.
Yeah, wow. Okay, I didn't even know it was 3rd percentile.
Oh, yeah, I didn't tell Lewis all the details
That's
yet.
okay.
Other than that, he had a regression and it was low.
Working parents can understand the miscommunication in this section.
Yeah, pretty much. We came home from work, fed the children, bathed the children, put the children to bed, and now we're recording. So I didn't actually tell Lewis any of this. Yeah, both for expressive and receptive language. Expressive meaning getting words out. Receptive meaning being able to understand. He is very, very, very low. She deliberately wouldn't tell me what they call the age equivalent, which is how old of a person his language abilities are at. She would not tell me that, which isn't a great sign.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so it's a very, very, very big change. We're not quite sure why. And as somebody who wants to know and likes to have details and answers, this waiting is really, really not fun. And I just have a lot of sadness for him because I don't know what's going on. I feel guilty that I don't know and that I'm not getting him immediate help, even though now we're back up to 2 days a week of therapies. So, woohoo! I didn't need to have a functioning life anyway. But, I feel very sad that I don't know if I'm getting him the right help. I don't know if we're getting him the right help quick enough. And he has an older brother who has a lot of needs. And he kind of doesn't come first all the time because Benji has so many needs and is so aggressive and he's a lot. He's like the equivalent of 10 kids. So we're focused so much on that and keeping Alex safe that we've been doing everything we can for him. And now I feel like maybe we missed something. Maybe there were signs that we should have seen.
Yeah, things can slip through when your all your attention is on your autistic child, and the other one also has issues, and it's much more subtle.
And to be honest, I don't think we missed anything. Being a neuropsychologist, I watch my kids like a hawk, not because I feel like I have to, but because development is really fascinating to me. So I notice all the differences between the kids and every new thing that they do or everything that's different than anything they ever did before. So I don't really think I missed anything. I had this language regression on my radar, But the new pediatrician said he wasn't concerned. As you've heard in the last couple episodes, school just brings up issues every day, most of which are unfounded. So one can't really listen to that. And at the time they brought up the concerns, he was actually saying a lot. So couldn't really think much about that. And since people had said, oh, well, we're not seeing anything, I said, well, okay, I guess I won't trust my gut. But as soon as Lewis told me a week or two ago that the physical therapists had concern, that really raised a red flag. And he said, well, she only mentioned it in passing, so I don't know that we need to do anything about it. And my little mommy instinct said, oh, no, we are going to schedule an appointment right away for that. Worst comes to worst, we've wasted an hour of our time. And I'm really, really glad, as I am every single time I listen to my mommy instincts, because I was right. He's really delayed, and I'd rather catch it now at a little over a year than wait till he's 2 or 3 and be like, well, I just lost all that time that I could have used to help him when, well, everyone else was saying it was fine, so I listened. So I'm really glad that now we're catching it only a month or 2 after the regression happened. But I still just feel so bad that I don't know what life is going to bring for him. And if he does have autism in addition to everything else, his life might be really, really hard.
Yeah, it's difficult because there's so much we still don't know. Imagine him being autistic as well as suffering from cerebral palsy. That is a livable condition, but certainly does not make the situation for anyone easier, to say the least. It's just devastating how you love this child so much, and when you see a regression or some kind of difficulty in developing, it's incredibly painful in your gut to see this, and especially when you don't know what to do and you're not really getting any good guidance.
Yeah, it was really interesting going back to work today because I was so focused on getting my children the help that they need, and there were so many little things that were going on that's just like, for instance, one of my schedulers was like, oh, do you want to see this type of patient? I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Just, you can decide and I will back up your decision. I don't care. It's not that I didn't focus on my patients. I gave my patients my all and I gave them all of my attention. But the little shit, I'm like, I just don't care. And why is this important? Like, my kid is really struggling. Don't worry me with stupid shit. I don't give a fuck. Go away. So it's been really interesting trying to balance all of that. Plus all the stuff that we already have. Plus holidays coming up. Plus, we've got to get out of the house we're in because finances are so strapped. Plus, my health keeps going in the toilet. As soon as I feel like, okay, I'm working on this one thing, 85 other things go wrong. It's really tough. It's really tough. I'm grateful that we have this podcast as an outlet and as something to do to share with others and get support, but also give support to others. And through that, I've already started to make new friends, which has been wonderful because then we can give each other support. And it's also putting self-care back on our radar so that we can try to help ourselves and stay afloat as best we can in this shit show that is our lives. I also listened to one of my favorite mommy podcasts today, and there was a reminder that, as you've heard me say in the trailer, we are selves. It gets lost a lot when we're so focused on the nitty-gritty of all the things that are going on with our kids and work and finances and this and that we are people too. We matter too. We need to take care of ourselves. We're the only selves we've got. I can't just focus on the kids and then when I'm 60 realize I'm dead because I didn't take care of myself, or that I had a stroke before I turned 40 because I didn't take care of myself. I have to take care of my body now so that I can be there for my kids. I saw a Facebook post a few days ago and somebody said that their biggest wish is that they can live for 100 years just so they could be there for their kid to help their kid with whatever needed to happen. So again, we need to care for ourselves so that we can be there for our kids who really need us. So this podcast has been a really good reminder that it is important to take care of ourselves. All right. So that's really all I wanted to talk to you guys about, just to give you an update of where we are, what we're going through, and just to give you the up-to-the-moment rawness of this lovely, lovely situation that is going on. Alrighty. Thanks for listening. This is FUBAR, Surviving Parenthood with Special Needs Kids. Well, that's it for our show. To find out more about the show, please go to www.fubarpod.com. Check us out on Facebook with our FUBAR, Surviving Parenthood with Special Needs Kids group, and on Twitter at fubarpod. If you like our show, please click on subscribe and help us out by giving us 5 stars on iTunes or wherever you find our podcasts. And leave us a review so other like-minded parents can find out what you like about us and discover their community in which to survive and thrive. See you next time on FUBAR, Surviving Parenthood with Special Needs Kids.